Well, it's great to see Topper sports season kicking off again. I'm Troy Hughes. I'm the fire chief here in Los Alamos. And we're glad to see COVID kind of waning and people getting back to their normal activities. One of the things that hurt us during this time period was our lack of people. So we need recruits. We need cadets to come to work for Los Alamos Fire Department. It's a great career, very rewarding, good pay, good benefits, great retirement. You get to work out and maintain your Topper strength. So we're hoping that a few good people will come to work for us in the next year, and we hope that the Toppers win, so go Toppers.
Hello, I'm Deputy Chief Oliver Morris of the Los Alamos Police Department, and I just want to take a few moments of your time to talk about some safety initiatives that we want to bring forth to the community as the 2022-2023 school year starts in Los Alamos. School is right around the corner, and we want to remind parents and students to make sure that you leave enough time to get to school on time so we're not rushing. As you can see behind me, all school zones are 15 miles an hour when students are going to school, even if they're not present. So let's slow down and just make sure our students are safe. Secondly, I want to remind us that when the buses are stopped and their stop signs and lights are activated, we want traffic to stop in both directions to allow time for students to cross the street to keep them safe. The other thing I want to talk about is our school campuses. It's important to remember that during school, campuses are closed to the general public, as well as the playgrounds and facilities, while school is in session. This also includes Sullivan Field and the Sullivan Field parking lot. We want to make sure that school is meant for just school hours and school staff. Please check in with the staff regularly if you're going to be planning on visiting our campuses. We have a long history at Los Alamos to have amazing school resource officers. These officers are there to provide an atmosphere of safety and security for our students and faculty, but they're also there to foster positive relationships with students. So we use our school resource officers just to ensure that everything is safe in our schools. The other thing I'd like to direct our community to is on the losalamosschools.net website. If you click on the Safety and Wellness section, you will see that there's the See Something, Say Something app. This app is a great tool to report anything that has to do with safety, whether it's bullying or whether it's a suspicious person on campus or anything you think is safety related for our schools. Please use this app to report any suspicious behavior so that we can work in concert with the Los Alamos Public Schools to make sure everyone is safe. And that's the final message that I have for you today, and I just want to make sure that we have a safe and fun school year, and go Toppers.
Hi there, my name is Kristen O'Hara, and I'm the Director of Interpretation at Pajarito Environmental Education Center. We are the nonprofit that runs the Los Alamos Nature Center. Bears are active in Los Alamos during spring, summer, and fall. New Mexico Game and Fish recommend the following 6 bear-wise basics to keep you and our bears safe. Do not feed or approach bears. Whether it's unintentional or intentional, feeding black bear in our community is incentivizing them to come into our residential neighborhoods for food. And we do not want to do that. They are wild animals. They're equipped for finding food themselves. Our people food is not the best thing for them. As far as approaching bears in the wild, it is best to stay away from black bear. If a black bear hasn't seen you and you happen to see one across the street from you, take a moment to have that beautiful experience, but do not approach a black bear. Make sure to secure your garbage cans and recycling. Bears have a very keen sense of smell and can rip open garbage cans very easily, so having them secured with some sort of bungee cord or something to keep the lids down is the best way to keep our bears in our community safe. Remove bird feeders during prime active bear times. Black bears in Los Alamos are active anywhere between the very end of April, May to the middle of November. So during those times, anything we can do to keep our bears safe by not giving them food is better for bears and better for us. So at night, for instance, at the Nature Center, we take down the bird feeders that we have outside and put them back up in the morning. So that is something you can do. But if you do have a bear at your house that has eaten from your feeders, make sure to take your feeders down for a length of time around 2 weeks so the bear does not acclimatize to coming to your house for food. Do not leave your pet food outside. If you happen to feed your animals outdoors, put your food bowls out there, make sure your animals have your fill, but make sure you bring them in after your animal is done eating. That'll, again, keep the bears safe. Clean and store your grills. That means cleaning your grills thoroughly, removing all fat and food that could have dropped in the base of the grill, and then storing it in an inaccessible place, so a place the bears cannot get to, like a garage or even inside your house, if that's a possibility. I know not everybody has a garage, but just keeping in mind a good place to store a grill that is away from that can be away from bears accessing it. And I guess our last bear safety tip is to tell your neighbors, communicate with your neighbors and your friends about bears that have been spotted in the area, or these safety tips that you've learned here today. The more knowledge we can give to our neighbors and our friends, the better, and it will keep our bear neighbors and our human neighbors as safe as possible. Good luck, toppers, on your season.
Hi, I'm Curtis Christensen, Managing Director of the Los Alamos Program Management Office here at TechSource. TechSource is honored to have the opportunity to support Hilltoppers basketball. We are part of the lab's triad team working towards mission delivery, and we are part of the community right here, living the example that it is team that gets it done. To borrow some of the famous Coach Wooden's words, the main ingredient to winning is team. All the team. The players that listen, push, and focus during practice, the support from the bench, and those 5 on the court. Los Alamos is a special community. We count ourselves lucky to be able to have the opportunity to support its people, events, and organizations. Good luck today. Go Toppers.
Join the University of New Mexico Los Alamos for the exceptional education. Join us for the small class sizes. Join us for the quality faculty and staff who are dedicated to your success. Whatever your reason for joining us, start here, go anywhere. Go Hilltoppers.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Griffith Gymnasium, and welcome to the first game of 2023 for the boys, as they will be taking on an old district rival, the Capital Heights High School Jaguars. We used to be in the same class in the same district. No, we are no longer in the same class anymore, but anyway. But tonight it'll be an interesting ball game. The Hilltoppers have been struggling. They did their last game though. They took on Piedra Vista, and that was in, I think, the Pocourt tournament in Roswell, and won that ball game, going away by 20 points. And of course, this Piedra Vista has only won one game so far this season, so which is very, very unusual. Piedra Vista and Farmington are usually the kind of powerhouse, and I can't believe that Piedra Vista couldn't put they can always put a good team on the floor. This is Gene Mortensen, by the way, along with my good buddy Mike Mays, and Happy New Year, everybody, and hope you had a nice holiday season and a good Christmas and a good New Year's and all that jazz. And so now we're ready for the new year. And so, Mike, I don't know, it's going to be interesting tonight because what is interesting is when you look at the Capital lineup and everything, Ben Gomez is back coaching. I don't know how long he's been back, but he coached us quite some years ago when Mike Dominguez was playing for Capital and they won the state tournament. But I don't know. Then they had a parting of the ways, and I guess now they decided to get back together again. So, so Ben Gomez will be the coach, and of course for the Hilltoppers is Benito Maestas. The Hilltoppers coming into the ball game, they are 3-7, and the Capital Jaguars, they mirror that. They are 7-3, and neither team has played a district contest yet. So so Mike, I don't know what to expect here tonight. The Hilltopper boys, we haven't seen them forever because they've been on the road, and of course during the holidays we don't travel very much. But they've been on the road an awful lot, and so I think the last game that we had here was when they took on Valencia, and they had already defeated Valencia in the Santa Fe tournament, and then Valencia came up here to Los Alamos and defeated him about 3 or 4 days later by 3 points. So except for that Piedra Vista win, the Hilltoppers have it's been a rough go for them, and they've been playing some pretty good competition now.
Yeah, they really have. So the Toppers going tonight without Nico Garcia. Garcia has been missed a couple of games now. They do expect him back possibly later this week or maybe next week. We'll keep an eye on that. But so he will be out, and Toppers and Benito Maestas have shuffled their starters, and we'll get to those in just a moment after the national anthem.
Here we go, national anthem, everybody. Well, that completes the national anthem here, and in just a moment, Maury Pongrass, the PA voice, Los Alamos will introduce the starting lineups, and Mike has those starting lineups for us.
Sure do. For the Capital Jaguars, they are, of course, coached by Ben Gomez. They're going to start a junior, 5'6", Santiago Bencomo, a 5'6" senior, Isaac Ortega. Isaiah Ortega, a 6' senior, will get the start tonight, as will Isaiah Sanchez, a 5'9" senior, and Nathaniel Ortiz, a 5'11" junior. So not a ton of height here to start things off for the Jaguars this evening. For the Toppers, they will start Kyle Evanhus. He is a sophomore, a 5'11" sophomore. Zach Morrow will get the start tonight. Ethan Mondragon, a sophomore, another sophomore, will get the start tonight, as well as senior Rick Valdez. He's 6'2", and the 5'6" Josiah Fresquez. He is a sophomore. To Toppers, of course, Gene, very sophomore heavy this year, and you get little growing pains to go along with that. But we've seen this team play very, very well in streaks. So if the Toppers, really, they're going to be their challenge going forward here as we near the district season to, put a full 32 minutes together and keep that sustained. This is when they're on. The Toppers are very, very solid, but they have to sustain that.
Yeah, they really do, and this should be a pretty fast-paced game. Neither team has a lot of height, so I'm expecting a lot of quickness. And in the JV game, what a horse race that thing was, and easily controlling the tap. That time was Nathaniel Ortiz. He didn't have any trouble whatsoever. So Capital start things off for the right now. They almost throw the ball out of bounds at half court, but then wide open underneath, they find Nathaniel Ortiz for two. So first they almost lost the ball out of bounds right at the coffin corner at the half court, and then as they scoop up the ball, suddenly they saw Nathaniel Ortiz wide open under the basket, trying to penetrate down the baseline, putting the shot up for Los Alamos. This time is Zach Morrow. His shot is off. Long pass down the floor is going to be knocked away by the Hilltoppers, by Ethan Mondragon. And they're going to say it was off of Capital. So it was a long pass down the floor. Both teams went up for it. I thought it was knocked out by Los Alamos, but they're saying nope, it was off of Capital. So now Josiah Fresquez will bring it up for Los Alamos. They try to get it underneath. It's knocked away. Ball on the floor. Battle for it. Out on top is going to come to Josiah. He dribbles in just inside, just dribbles just to the left of the free throw line, puts up the 15-footer. And so the sophomore picks up his first 2 points of the ball game, and that makes it a 2-2 ball game.
Nice jump stop and a nice jump shot there by Josiah to get things going. And then right back down the other way for the Jaguars, Isaiah Ortega, just 2 feet from the basket. He's all by himself.
Yeah, after he backed everybody out of the way. So comes to Fresquez out on top. He's going to get it now over to Mondragon. Ethan, standing out near the half-court circle, will put the ball on the floor, dribbles up to the top of the key, hands it to Josiah. Josiah loves the three-point shot. Let's see what he's going to do here tonight. Has the ball, has his pocket picked, and coming down the floor, Santiago Bencoma, a 5'6" junior with the steal and the basket. And that makes it now 6-2. And so we have his own press being put on by Capital right now. The Hilltoppers break it easily, but they're having a little trouble with the ball right now. They get it over in the corner. Fresquez three-point shot from the deep corner over on the right side. And Josiah with 5 points in the ball game. That makes it a 6-5 ball game. Capital up by 1. 5.5 minutes to go here in this first quarter. They pass it, the ball's on the floor underneath. There's a major battle for it. And so Well, they should have called a jump ball way before that, but they're going to wait and call a foul on Zach Morrow. So that'll be Morrow's first personal, first team foul. And so it'll be inbounded by Capital under their on the sideline. And once again, wide open. Whoa. And missing a wide open layup was Isaiah Sanchez. I mean, he was all by himself under the basket. All he had to do was lay it in. So I don't know. With the Hilltoppers right now, the defense has been a little shaky under the basket. They've had Capitals had a lot of good opportunities under there. They're going to bring it now to Rick Valdez. Valdez going to bounce it over now to Zach Morrow. Morrow going to penetrate down, puts up a little floater. Nice move by Zach Morrow. The 5'11 sophomore, and he puts it in for two. And that should give Los Alamos. They're going to give Los Alamos the lead here. They still haven't put up the points. Now they do. 7-6, and right now, Zach Morrow puts up trying to complete the 3-point play. He does not, but he gets the rebound to get it back out to him. He takes a 3-point shot from the left of the key and rebound back to Hilltoppers again. And so driving down the left side of the lane, it was Josiah Frescas, and he dished it out all the way out to Zach Morrow over in the corner. Morrow with the 3-point shot, and that is off. Now it's a 7-6 ball game right now. Hilltoppers up by 1. 4.5 minutes to go here in this first quarter of play. Full court press by Los Alamos. They bring it up. They get it now to Santiago Bencomo, and now coming down heading right down from the right wing straight to the basket, Santiago Bencomo.
And for Capital, had no trouble with the topper press. And in fact, Bencomo ended up, he was so wide open, he didn't know what to do with the ball. He didn't. He was surprised how wide open he was.
And now the Hilltoppers throw it away. An 8-7 ball game right now. Hilltoppers down by 1. Halfway through this first quarter. So they get it to Bencomo. Santiago will come across the free throw line, the half court line. And they dish it underneath. Boy, a nice little dish off that time as they get it into Francisco Diaz. And Diaz puts it in for 2 after a nice entry pass by Isaiah Sanchez. Whoa, and a little travel by the Hilltoppers. Dragging the old pivot foot.
Cannot do that.
No.
And Eddie Gartz, by the way, for Los Alamos, has checked into the ball game, as has Samuel Carmer. Carmer, 6'2". He appears to be the tallest person on the floor right now.
Yeah, and I think he is. So 3-point shot by Capital is off, and the fight for the rebound goes off of Capital. The Hilltoppers will inbound it. Full court press being put on by Capital again. It's going to be a 1-2-2 full court zone press. So they bring it up now, and they get it up to Samuel Carmer. Carmer brings it across the timeline, and then they double team as they end up double teaming Kyle Evanhus. And finally, the ball goes out of bounds and knocked away by Capital. 10-7 ball game, 3-point lead. They bring it in now out to Samuel Carmer. He just brings it back out on top. Josiah Frescas over to Kyle Evanhus. Evanhus will just pull up. He gets it out now all the way out near the half court line as he gets it out to Ethan Mondragon. Hilltoppers doing an awful lot of dribbling a long way from the basket, and now Josiah Frescas shooting from NBA range from behind the top of the key, and this one is off. 10-7 ball game, under 2.5 minutes to go. So they bring it over on the right side now to the right side now to Isaiah Sanchez. And so they get it under, and they get it inside to Eli Dominguez, and Dominguez puts it in for 2. That makes it 12-7. Hilltoppers coming down on the other end, trying to get it to Samuel Carmer down in the corner. They knocked away by Capital. Hilltoppers will inbound it. They'll hand the ball right now to Eddie Gartz, and Gartz will try to get it in. He finally gets it into Samuel Carmer. Carmer brings it all the way out on top to Ethan Mondragon. Comes now to Josiah Frescas. Frescas on the dribble. He's going to penetrate in, puts up a little floater, and that's good. So Frescas with a nice move to the basket as he crossed the free throw line. He put up that little floater and dropped it in, makes it 12-9. Hilltoppers down by 3 with a minute and a half to go. Ball is knocked away. Loose ball picked up by Zach Morrow. Morrow will bring it up for Los Alamos. Morrow, he's going to take it to the hole. Puts it up and in. Boy, nice move by Zach Morrow. He just saw the two. There had 2 defenders under the basket for Capital. Neither one of them had picked him up. So he just blew right by both of them and laid it in. Well, that was easy. So they comes out of Santiago Bencomo. Bencomo still on the dribble. Now he's going to bring it out on top. They finally rotated over into the left wing, and Isaiah Ortega, he's so busy pushing his defender away, he loses the handle on the dribble. And so once again penetrating down the middle, and we're going to have they do score penetrating down the middle that time was Isaiah Sanchez. And then he dished it off underneath.
Charge to Samuel Carter. So, Carmer's going to pick up the foul, and they're going to call this, I think, before the shot. So
yeah, apparently so. So Carmer picks up his first personal. That's the second team foul. And so Capital inbound it, and they bring it out on top to Bencomo. It's a 5'6" junior point guard. Ball is stolen away by Ethan Mondragon. Mondragon gets it up to Zach Morrow. Morrow gets away with a travel, gets the ball over to Eddie Gartz, and Gartz lays it in for 2. So that's a good way to keep control. Just take a couple extra steps. No call on that one.
That was right in front of the official, too.
Yes, it was. Great penetration down the left side of the lane by Isaiah Sanchez. Lays it in with the left hand. And right now, Mike, let's see. The Jaguars have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 field goals. And they have 1. And the only player with 2 is Santiago Bencomo. So at the buzzer is the shot. It's in, but it's no good.
No, well after the buzzer, Gartz took 1 extra dribble right before the buzzer. Could not get the shot off in time. Not right off the glass from 3 points, but just about a tick late. So 14-13 ball game here after 1 quarter of play here at Griffith Gymnasium. The Toppers taking on the Capital Jaguars. As Gene said earlier, these 2 teams, former district arch rivals. And boy, we remember some just fantastic contests between the Toppers and the Jaguars. I remember a couple during the Alex Kirk era, and the Jaguars were no pushover either. They had a couple of really solid guards, and that was just back and forth all night. So so these teams have had some battles and shaping up early as a battle in this one as well, with the Jaguars up by 1. And you said coming into the game, Gene, you're expecting a track meet. Well, they haven't disappointed so far. Neither team not super worried about their half-court offense there in that first quarter.
Yeah, they certainly don't need a shot clock in this ball game, I'll tell you. Wow. I mean, it doesn't take not very long before somebody's either taking it to the hole or or firing up from outside. The Hilltoppers will inbound it to start the second quarter, and they'll hand the ball off to Eddie Gartz, and he'll bring it in now to Ethan Mondragon. Mondragon skip pass all the way across to Eddie Gartz. That was a dangerous pass. Gartz comes down the baseline on the right side, a little 8-foot jumper from the sophomore, and he puts it in for two, and the Hilltoppers take back the lead 15-14.
Toppers have really been aggressive with their dribble penetration as Morrow just going to block there on defense. But we've seen Frescas go in. We've seen nice take there by Gartz, and then a couple of really strong takes by Zach Morrow in that first quarter. So they're obviously seeing something where they can dribble penetrate against these Jaguars.
And so they got the ball. They got the ball now to Zach Morrow, and the defensive man went for the steal and ended up getting up behind him. March. All Morrow had to do was turn around. He had nobody on him, and he had a little 10-foot jumper on the baseline. That is off, and the rebound comes down to the Jaguars. Minute gone here in the second quarter. Pass underneath once again, wide open. And as they get it underneath to Isaiah Ortega, and he decides to hand it off to Nathaniel Ortiz, and Ortiz puts it in for two. So either one of those two guys could have easily picked up that basket. And so the Hilltoppers, they had Ethan Mondragon trapped right there at half court. The worst place you can you pick up your dribble right there as you cross the half court line, and the next thing you know, you're actually hadn't crossed the half court line, and so Benito Maestas jumps up and calls a 30-second timeout.
And that saved a possession, and even one of the officials was saying that the topper where the ball stepped on the sideline, and this was all at exactly the same moment as the timeout was called.
Yes, and
Ben Gomez a little upset that timeout was awarded. So that was very bang bang. I see why Ben was upset, but that was very, very close.
Yes, it was, but I'm not sure why Ben is upset anyway, because it's like, I wouldn't mind seeing the other team blow their timeouts. They do that all the time now. Nice move down the baseline. Kyle Evan, his shot is blocked. Rebound comes down to the Jaguars. They pick up their dribble underneath. And wide open underneath. Boy, they're getting an awful lot of wide open shots under there. Isaiah Ortega. That gives him 4 points, 18-15. Eddie Gartz, 3-point shot from the right corner. Long rebound. Going to come down to Santiago Bencomo, who comes across the timeline. He's going to bring it out to the top of the key to Isaiah Sanchez. Sanchez starts to make a move, and good defense by Kyle Evan, who's that time to cut him off. Shot goes up. It's a little floater air ball. Rebound comes down to the Hilltopper, Ethan Mondragon. So Mondragon will get it to Josiah Frescas. Frescas back to Ethan, now down in the corner. Now they're going to get a nice Rick Valdez. Nice move to the basket. Puts the shot up a little too hard off the back of the iron. And then on the rebound, we're going to have a personal foul. And I think that's going to go to Kyle Evan, that's going to be his first. And that is the 15th foul on Los Alamos already. Then there's been 2 called on the Jaguars. 18-50, the Jaguars up by 3. And out on top with it, Isaac Ortega, who has checked in for Ben Gomez. And he gets the ball underneath, makes a nice little move in the lane, misses. The rebound is pulled down this time by Nathaniel Ortiz, and he now has 6 points as he gets the putback. 20-15.
Oh, boy. Long pass from the timeline, trying to get it to Eddie Gartz near the baseline. That was about 5 feet over his head.
Yeah. Plus he threw it with his left hand.
Yeah, that wasn't even his dominant hand. That was his weak hand. He's throwing it with his right hand. That ball still be going.
Yes, it would be. And he started from the timeline on the as he's coming down the left side of the floor, and he was trying to get it to Eddie Gartz over in the right corner. So that's as far away as you could get. And so now Nate Ortiz he's picked up 6 points in this quarter. He now has right now 8 points in the ball game. Kyle Evanhoose 3-point shot, and that's good. So Kyle Evanhoose, Kansas 3-pointer. That makes it 22-18. 4-point lead now for Capital. They bring it over to the right side to Elijah Rodriguez. Rodriguez is going to hand it back out to Nate Ortiz. Right now, that's more passes than I've seen Capital make the entire ball game. They finally do get it inside. They're going to call a foul before the shot, and that personal foul is going to go to Eddie Gartz, and that's going to be his first. And that is the 16th foul on Los Alamos, and anyway, it was a common foul, so it'll be inbounded by Capital, and Zach Morrow, he's just major pick the pocket of Elijah Rodriguez. They get it to Josiah Frescas. Frescas coming out, pulls up just to the right of the key. Now he's at the top of the key. Now he's going to penetrate down, puts it up with the left hand, and he's going to go to the free throw line. So the personal foul.
Foul charge to Isaac Ortega.
So Isaac Ortega picks up his first personal. And that's the third team foul. And Josiah Frescas at the free throw line. Right now, Josiah, he has 7 points in the ball game, all in the first quarter. And right now, he's going to shoot 2 for the Hilltoppers.
Nice. Wow! Sorry, Gene. I was just going to say this is just the second and third free throw attempts in this ball game total.
Yes.
No shooting foul, no foul shots by the Jaguars so far. And Frescas knocks down both of them, and just a third for the Toppers. That's why we're moving pretty well in this ball game.
Yes, really. 22-20, 2-point ball game. Comes to the right side, and they'll bring it back out on top. They rotate it over to the left side to Santiago Bencomo. 3-point shot from way out, long rebound. Battle for it. That's going to be picked up by Bencomo, and Bencomo is going to dish it off underneath to Nate Ortiz, and Ortiz now has 10 points in this ball game.
Toppers on defense, Gene, is just they are struggling to cover it down underneath the basket. The Jaguars are not doing anything special. Most of the guys underneath the basket are just planted there, and they've been wide open this entire half.
Yeah, from the get-go. And as they started off, the interior defense for Los Alamos has just not been very good. So Eddie Gartz checks out of the ball game. I think it's the Samuel Farmer coming back in for Los Alamos. 15-footer. And this went off by Francisco Diaz and comes right back to him. So he shoots a 15-footer from the free throw line, comes right back to him. So then he shoots a 12-footer right in the middle of the lane. That one's off, but Capital does get the rebound. 2:34 to go here in the first half. 24-20, Capital up by 4. And 3-point shot and good rebound by Capital. And so they dish it out over to Isaiah Sanchez. And Isaiah picks up the first 3-pointer of the ball game for the Jaguars to make it 27-20. And that is Isaiah's 5th point. Steal, and I think we're going to have the basket here in a minute. Yes, we are. Steal by Isaac Ortega. And Ortega takes it down, lays it in to make it 29-20. Boys, it was 22-20. 7 straight points for Capital as they just zipped it off. And so the Hilltoppers taking a full timeout.
Wow, that was 7 very, very quick points there by Capital.
Boy, was it ever.
Including a nice 3-pointer there, first of the ball game there by Isaiah Sanchez. But then the quick steal and going all the way to the other side was Isaac Ortega. And the Toppers just really struggling to do much of anything right now. The defense, like we said, is just they've been able to get in the passing lanes, but if Capital's kind of able to get past the first wave, Los Alamos interior defense has been almost non-existent tonight, and they've been getting a lot of easy buckets. Have the Jaguars for the Toppers shooting very well, penetrating very well, but Capital's defense kind of swarming right now, and Los Alamos has they're very, very quick. Los Alamos has not been able to do much against that defense. They're kind of playing a 3-quarter press there, and boy, a dangerous pass, but gets it into the corner to Zach Morrow.
Yeah, yeah, Morrow ejected by Nate Ortiz, big time. So it'll be inbounded by Los Alamos under their own basket, baseline left. Zach Morrow brings it over to Eddie Gartz in the corner, who had checked back in for Los Alamos. Ethan Mondragon's going to bring it out to Frescas. So Zaya puts the ball on the floor. Here goes the 3-point shot. That rims around and comes off. Rebound comes down right now to Eli Dominguez. And shot taken from way outside is off. Rebound comes down to the Hilltoppers. They get it up the floor to Zach Morrow. Morrow starts to go to the hole, and we're going to have a blocking foul called against Capital. And that one looks like it's going to go to his Isaiah Sanchez. That's his first. That is the 4th team foul. And it'll be inbounded by Los Alamos under their own basket. They bring it all the way out on top to Eddie Gartz. Minute 15 to go here in the first half as they hand it over to Zach Morrow. Morrow to the top of the key, penetrates into the free throw lane, into the free throw circle, dishes it back out on top to Josiah Frescas. Frescas behind the back, stops at the free throw line, started to go up, decided not to, dishes it off to Zach Morrow, and Morrow puts it in for 2. 29-22, and we're under a minute to go. Cutting to the basket. Boy. Wow. I mean, Nate Ortiz cutting right down the middle right down Broadway, and he's picked up his 12th point, but great entry pass that time. Eddie Gartz 3-point shot. That's good. Eddie Gartz from the right corner. He now has 7 points in this game, and it's back to a 6-point ball game. We bring it over now to Elijah Rodriguez. Rodriguez is going to penetrate down. And, I didn't see any foul. But
I didn't either, but they're going to call a foul. Let's see, that's going to go to Carmer.
Foul charge to Samuel.
And I believe that is his second. And that's going to send Rodriguez to the line to shoot 2 first foul shots of the evening by Capital, but I didn't see much anything there.
And nothing, not at all. Dominguez, Rodriguez, he started to go, and then he made a little fake, and both Hilltoppers went for the fake, but neither one of them laid a finger on him. But he drops in the first, and he'll shoot one more. And this one is off, but the rebound comes down to Capital, to Isaac Ortega. Ortega over to Santiago Bencomo. The pass underneath and open, and for the basket is Nate Ortiz. And he's going to go to the free throw line.
Wow.
And he's got 12 points in this quarter.
Foul charge.
14 altogether.
Yeah, Ortiz, wow, what a move under the basket. And unfortunately, one of the toppers got a little bit underneath them. That's what they called the undercut there, as Ortiz misses the shot. Seconds remaining, and steal by Capital Late. Shot not in time for the buzzer. Would not have counted anyway, but wow. What a quick turnaround here. This is a 2-point ball game about in real time, what, maybe 3.5 minutes ago?
Yeah, even if I don't even know if it was that long ago. It was, it was 22-20. And then all of a sudden, they just poured off the points, and they lead right now 34-25 after one half of play, as the Hilltoppers came up with 12 points in that second quarter, and Capital came up with 20. So that gives them that 9-point lead as they led by 1 at the end of the first quarter, and they outscored Los Alamos by 8 in this quarter. So it makes it 34-25. And going to add things up a little here. So the situation here right now is the Hilltopper boys, they're going to be on the road again. They've been on the road forever. I think that last game they played here was at Valencia, and that was early on in December, and then they've been on the road ever since. But they're going to go back on the road again, and this weekend they're going to go down to Goddard. They just got through playing Goddard in that Roswell tournament, lost to Goddard in that tournament. Now they're going to go back to Goddard and take on Goddard again. And I guess it's an overnight trip, and they're going to head down to Lovington. That'll be Friday and Saturday.
I hope it's an overnight trip. That's a long that's a long turnaround.
Oh, yeah.
To drive Lovington, what, about 10-15 miles from Roswell?
Yeah, something not very far. So anyway, but on Saturday, the Hilltopper girls are at Capitol tonight, taking on the Lady Jaguars, and then they'll be back home here on Saturday afternoon to take on the Aztec Lady Tigers. And that game will be at 4 o'clock on Saturday afternoon. And so they schedule those games, especially a weekend game like that, so that teams like Aztec don't get home at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, and when you have a 3.5 or 4 hour drive up to Aztec. So the 34-25, Mike, have you added things up yet?
I do. I have. So the Toppers in that first half, led by Josiah Fresquez. He ended up with 9 points. He had 7 of those in the first quarter. Did have a 3-pointer in that first quarter. And in the second quarter, went to the foul line, hit both of his foul shots for his 9 points. Eddie Gortz with 7 points. He also had a 3-pointer in that second quarter, as did Kyle Evanhus. Evanhus with 3, and Zach Morrow, who we've seen take the ball inside a couple of times on some pretty strong drives. He ended up with 6 points in that first half, but just those 4 gentlemen getting into the scorebook in that first half for Los Alamos. A lot of people getting in the scorebook for the Jaguars in that first half. 8 of them, as a matter of fact. But they were led by Nathaniel Ortiz. Monster second half, just kind of or second quarter rather, took over that second quarter, dropped in 12 points. He has 14 overall. He is easily the top scorer so far in this contest. And then a lot of smaller numbers around for the Jaguars. Isaiah Sanchez has 5, and as does Eli Dominguez, Isaiah Ortega. They have 4 points. And then just kind of a smattering all over the place for the Jaguars. But Ortiz, the beneficiary underneath the basket, he just kind of set up under the low block. And he was able to get a bunch of just really easy layups along with that, he was getting a fair amount of offensive rebounds and keeping the ball alive for the Jaguars. But the Jaguars with a lightning fast 7-0 run there late in that second quarter, that that kind of got them going. And as they lead right now 34-25, that was kind of the difference in this first half. Just amazingly fast 7 points that the Jaguars dropped in. They got a 3-pointer, a couple of quick turnovers, and that 7 points, took a matter of 30, 45 seconds, maybe?
That's about all. It didn't take very long. And it was 22-20. Next thing we knew, it was 29-20. I mean, and that took no time whatsoever. So for the Hilltoppers, well, let's see. Let's look at the scoring from the floor here. We got the Jaguars came up with 16 field goals in that first half, and one of those was a 3-pointer, and that was by Isaiah Sanchez. And they were 1 for 3 from the free throw line. So the and they had, 8 players get into the scoring column. Hilltoppers had 4 players get into the scoring column. They, as Mike said, they were led by Josiah Frescas. 10 field goals for Los Alamos. 3 of those are 3-pointers, and they were 2 of 3 from the free throw line as they were behind by 1 point at the end of the first quarter, 14-13. They were outscored by 8 in the second quarter. And so right now they trail by 9, 34-25 to the Capital Jaguars, an old rival that, we've seen a lot of Capital over the years, and here and there. And so it's been an interesting situation, and it's been an interesting rivalry. And so and the same way with the girls usually for a long time dominated in that series, but then the Capital finally started putting some pretty good girls teams together, and so it's been fairly even ever since. But tonight the Hilltopper girls going up against the Lady Jaguars down in Santa Fe, and we are here at Griffith Gymnasium, and what is this, the third day of the year? Wow. So hope you all had a good Christmas and a good New Year's. We did. It was quiet, but it was nice. And
Gene, you discovered online Pictionary.
Oh yeah, we did.
You was telling me about that earlier. I didn't even know that was a thing.
I didn't either until my daughter-in-law in Lubbock, Texas, got a hold of everybody and said we have to play online Pictionary. So they got gathered together, about 10 of us, and actually I just observed. I observed my daughter Tammy playing, but anyway, it's kind of interesting, and it's just like a regular Pictionary, but you draw the picture on your phone or on your computer, or you use your mouse or on a computer or your finger on your phone and stuff, and it's a lot of fun. But had a pretty, like I say, we had a pretty good lineup, and I was spectating. Anyway, so we got about 2 minutes to go here, Mike, before we're going to get underway here. The Hilltoppers, like I say, they won those first 2 games early on. That one game they won totally by the benefit of the 3-point shot. They had 18 3-pointers in that very, very first ball game that they played here in Griffith Gymnasium, and it was Josiah Frescas and Nico Garcia just had a field day from the 3-point line. They did the same thing against Valencia when they played Valencia here. Had a very, very good first half from the 3-point line, but then in the second half they just they made some adjustments, and they put Nico was the one who was hot, and so they made some adjustments and and they just put somebody on Nico all the time. And so that kind of cut down on the shooting. And Josiah, he just wasn't as hot that night as he had been. So anyway, we got about 45 seconds to go before we're going to start things off. And let's see, it's well, I can't see. Let's see, it looks like the ball's going to go to Los Alamos, it appears.
Yeah. So both teams stayed pretty long in the locker room. Didn't come out until about 2 minutes or so remaining, and Jaguars took a couple of warm-up shots. That's it. I don't know if the Toppers took any. I didn't see them. But in any event, there a lot to talk about. I'm sure the Toppers want to shore up that interior defense. That was really surprising. And the Jaguars were well, I was going to say that they weren't doing anything fancy. They weren't doing anything at all. They were just standing there.
They were just open.
So we'll see if the Toppers and Benito Maestas is going to make a few adjustments here, kind of try to slow that down. They really got to keep an eye on Ortiz here in the second half. We just had a field day in that second quarter.
Yeah, he really did. My God, he picked up 12 points and missed a free throw. So the Hilltoppers inbound it, and they get it into Josiah Frescas. Frescas into the corner. 3-point shot on the way. That is off by Zach Morrow. Long pass down the floor and taking it to the hole and laying it in is Nate Ortiz. He now has 16 points, 36-25, and an 11-point lead now for Capital. Skip pass comes across over Zach Morrow. He's going to come down the left side of the lane, puts it up too hard off the glass. A rebound battle for it. We're going to have a jump ball, and that held ball will go to Capital. Hilltoppers inbounded it to start the second half, so that held ball turns it over to Capital. And so they'll get it to Santiago Bencomo, their 5'6" junior point guard, and he'll walk it across the timeline. And he's going to bring it now over to Isaac Ortega, back to Bencomo. Bencomo is going to penetrate in, a little short shot, way off. He tried a little half jump shot, and it turned out to be an air ball. Josiah Frescas 3-point shot up and in, just to the left of the key. 12 points now for Josiah, as he just came across and dribbled just to the left of the key a little bit. They get the ball inside it. The shot is blocked underneath by Josiah Frescas, is trying to take it to the hole that time. Was Isaiah Ortega. Good block that time by Isaiah. A 3-point shot by Los Alamos is off. Fight for the rebound. This is going to be picked up by Isaac Ortega. We're going to have a personal foul go to the Hilltoppers. That one's going to go to Rick Valdez, and that's going to be his third. And that's the first team foul of this half. 8-point lead for Capital right now, and just taking it to the hole. Nobody picking him up is Santiago Bencomo, and he blows an easy layup. I mean, all he did was just go straight to the hole. Nobody picked him up, and he just laid it off and rolled around and came off. Pass comes over now to Kyle Evanhoose. Evanhoose makes a nice move into the lane, puts a shot up. The rebound comes down to Rick Valdez, and Valdez puts it back in for 2. That's his first 2 points of the ball game. And Rick is the only senior on this team, and so he puts it in for 2. And that first personal foul is going to go to Nate Ortiz. That's going to be his second, and that is the first team foul of this half. And the attempting a 3-point play.
Where was the held ball call there?
Yes, by God, both teams, both players had the ball and had the hand on the ball for about 5 seconds, and then Zach Mondragon or Ethan Mondragon looked like it was going to be a clean steal for him, as he stole the ball away from Isaiah Sanchez, but they called a foul, and I thought it was a pretty clean steal. So just we're going to have a foul before this shot, I do believe. Yes, they are.
And I think it's going to go to Valdez.
Yeah, it is. That's his fourth personal.
Wow. So Rick had a couple of quick fouls in that first half and a couple of quick fouls here in the second half. So he's going to be on the bench for a while.
So a 3-point shot taken from the left corner. The rebound comes down to Frescas. Frescas trying to come up the floor. Nate Ortiz and then trying to pick him up with Francisco Diaz. Diaz knocks the ball out of bounds. The ball's still in the backcourt. Frescas bringing it up against Ben Como. Santiago trying to cut him off. And finally, Josiah almost lost the handle finally, but he is able to recover. And then Kyle Evans gets away with the travel and hands the ball. Then he flips the ball out over to Ethan Mondragon in the half court circle. Mondragon loses the dribble, gets it to Zach Morrow. Morrow over to Kyle Evans, who's on the right wing, and overthrows him. So that's good. It's 36-30. The Hilltoppers have closed this now to a 6-point ball game. They were at one point down by 11. They've closed it now down to 6. Pass comes inside and making the move to the basket. And they're going to, well, it looked like it was blocked by Los Alamos making the move to the basket at the time. It was like Isaiah Sanchez. Looked like Eddie Garch blocked it, but then the official says no, that Isaiah Sanchez is the last one to touch it, and now they steal. As they steal the ball away from Josiah Frescas, Isaac Ortega coming down, misses the shot, and
oh boy,
Josiah Frescas. I mean, he practically did a moonwalk in the lane.
Wow,
nothing called. Unbelievable.
That was. I don't even know if that was. I don't even know if he held himself to 3 steps. That looked like 4 or 5.
Yes, it certainly did. And they didn't call that, and then the ball goes out of bounds off the Hilltoppers. So Capital will bring it in up by 6. So the Hilltoppers have cut that 11-point lead down to 6. Santiago Bencomo going to get it now and once again, the entry pass comes to Isaiah Sanchez from Bencomo, and Sanchez picks up his 7th point as he just turns around and goes right down the right side of the lane and just lays it in. Now we're going to have a reach-in foul go to Santiago Bencomo of Capital. That's going to be that'll be his first, and that is the second team foul on Capital. Now we got another foul here called against Capital, and this one's going to go to Eli Dominguez. That's going to be his second. That's the third team foul. The Hilltoppers will inbound it at half court. They get it into the back court to Josiah Frescas. Frescas working on Isaac Ortega. Puts up the 3-point shot. Good. So Josiah Frescas cans a 3. Now has 15 points. And it's a 38-33 ball game. The Hilltoppers have cut it down to 5. A 3-point shot on the way. That's good. Nice left-handed shot by Isaac Ortega. Ortega with 5 points. And we're going to have a timeout taken by Ben Gomez. And I think it's going to be a 30. And that's exactly what it is. So he takes a 30. So that leaves him with 4 timeouts. He's got 3 full and 1 30. The Hilltoppers right now have 3 timeouts. They have 2 full and 1 30. It's an 8-point ball game, 41-33 right now, as here in this third quarter. So the Hilltoppers were down at one point. They were down by 11. They were down 36-25, and then they were able to move it up to 36-30. That is back up to an 8-point ball game once again. We have 3:47 to go here in the third quarter of play.
Couple of nice 3-pointers in this quarter by Frescas. That was a nice, that last one. Really good look there by Frescas, able to knock it home. So Fresca's maybe warming up a little bit. 15 points in this ball game, but so far, Toppers, when they made a little bit of run at Capital, the Jaguars have been able to answer.
Well, the ball's stolen away by Capital. Down the floor it comes, and they get it underneath. This time now to Isaiah Sanchez. Isaiah goes to the hole. He's fouled. He'll go to the free throw line.
Foul charge to Kyle Evans, his second.
So Kyle Evans picks up his second personal, and that is the 15th foul on Los Alamos. And at the free throw line, Isaiah Sanchez has 7 points in the ball game. This is his first trip to the line. He'll shoot 2. 3:34 to go. Misses that one. So they're 1 for 4 from the free throw line right now. Haven't been a whole lot of foul shots in this ball game. Let's see. They shot 3 in the first half, so this is their 5th. Hilltoppers shot 3 in the first half, and that was it. And they were 2 for 3. So the second one he puts in, so makes it 42-33, and now we're going to have a reach-in foul, and this one is going to go to Francisco Diaz, and Diaz picks up his first personal. That is the 4th team foul. So a kind of a press started to be put on by Capital, but easily broken by the Hilltoppers. Eddie Gartz is going to get it to Kyle Evans, who puts the shot up just inside the 3-point line from the right wing. And then going for the rebound, we're going to have a personal foul go to Samuel Carmer, and that's going to be his 3rd. And that's the 6th team foul.
Had a pretty good hold on Eli Dominguez's shoulder there, so it prevented him from getting up for that rebound. They almost never let you do that.
No, they don't. So Isaiah Sanchez takes it to the hole and misses what should have been an easy layup. Rebound comes down to the Hilltoppers, they get it to Josiah Frescas. He long pass up to that timeline to Eddie Gartz, and now Frescas is in a double team, trying to dribble out of the double team. 2:40 to go, and now they're going to get him for a 5-second dribbling violation.
Oh,
whoa.
Boy.
5 seconds.
Whoa. I don't know.
I don't know about that one. That
was wild.
Yeah, that was in order to get a 5-second violation, the defender's got to be really within an arm's length of you. And that was, unless his arms are really, really long, I don't think he was.
No, I don't think he was either. It's over now, and another 3-point shot by the left-hander, Isaac Ortega, as he had a 3 earlier in this quarter, and that was a left-handed shot. So he right now has 8 points in the ball game. Makes it 45-33. Frescas on the dribble, pulls up, gets it over now to Kyle Evans, will bring it over to the other side to Eddie Gartz. Gartz almost has the ball stolen away, bounces it over now to get it to Zach Morrow. Morrow has his pocket picked, and a little fancy fast break that time, Mike.
Wow.
Whoa. As they had his pocket picked. That time he had his pocket picked by Isaac Ortega, and Ortega coming down the floor with Santiago Bencomo. And as they were coming down, and Isaiah went with a behind-the-back pass to Santiago, who laid it in, and Santiago was fouled by Eddie Gartz. And so that is Eddie's second personal, and that is the 7th team foul, but it's a shooting foul. And this is off. He missed, and it's off. But pulling down the rebound and putting it back in is Elijah Rodriguez. And so Santiago, Benito, he wants a timeout, and I can certainly understand why. But there's no reason that the Jaguars should have gotten that rebound at all. So
there really was. That was just Dominguez just kind of snuck in there, or Rodriguez rather stuck in there. Nobody was paying the attention to him. That was easy.
Yeah, it really was.
And Benito is clearly perturbed about that play, and he is letting it be known to the Toppers that he was not crazy about the box out attempt there. So anyway, wow. Every time we take our eye off the scoreboard for 30 seconds or so, the Jaguars just kind of start to pull away. This is a 16-point ball game right now. Yeah. Toppers had this cut down to 6, and it just when the Jaguars turn on the Jets, I mean, they have just dominated.
Yeah, the Jaguars have outscored that when the Hilltoppers had that 6-point had cut it to 6. The Jaguars have gone on a 13-3 run against Los Alamos. And get it now to Fresca. Starts to go with a 3. I can't believe he didn't shoot that. His eye is never going to get more wide open than that. And so we're going to have a traveling violation called against the Hilltoppers. And
I'm not sure who that is.
I'm not sure who that is either.
It could be Larry Bird, I suppose. Number 33. Let's take a look at that.
Yeah.
I didn't think there was a 33 in the book.
Lowering his shoulder and backing in, Eli Dominguez, and he picks up his 4th point, makes it 51-33. Long pass down the floor, stolen away by Capital. Francisco Diaz brings it up to Isaac Ortega. Isaac Ortega misses the shot. Diaz gets the rebound, and now we're going to have a reach-in foul go to the Hilltoppers. We're going to say it was not a shooting foul, but Jaguars are in a 1-and-1.
And that is Isaac Manzanares, number 33 for the Toppers. He was a call-up this evening, and he's going to get called back here to the bench after the foul. So 51-33.
Francisco Diaz gets to shoot.
And wow, Toppers for the Jaguars rather already in the 1-and-1 with 48 seconds here left in the third quarter.
Francisco Diaz at the free throw line has 2 points in the ballgame. This is his first trip to the line, and he's going to shoot a 1-and-1. Puts in the first. He'll shoot one more. Makes it 52-33. So the Hilltoppers have, after that 6-point, cut it to 6. So right now it's let's see, what is it? A 16-3, going to be a 17-3 run.
Unbelievable.
By Capital. So Diaz puts that one in for his 4th point. Comes now to Eddie Gartz. Gartz will bring it back out on top to Ethan Mondragon over to Prescott in the corner. They get it to Kyle Evanhoose. Evanhoose makes a nice move down the lane. Shot is off. Long rebound comes down to Capital. They heave it down the floor this time to Elijah Rodriguez. He blows the easy layup. And now we're going to have a reach-in foul go to the Hilltoppers, Ethan Mondragon. And let's see.
And the notice for the Jaguars, Isaac Ortega gets to shoot 1-and-1.
That is Ethan's 3rd personal.
Wow.
That's going to be the ninth team foul. And at the free throw line, Isaac Ortega. And he's going to shoot 1-and-1. Puts in the first. We've got 22 seconds remaining here in this third quarter. In a disastrous third quarter for Los Alamos.
Yeah, absolutely. That's 8 points in the quarter for Ortega. 22-point lead for Capital. And Capital still applying the the trapping pressure here.
Yeah, they really are. Eddie Garch gets it. 4 seconds to go. Puts a shot up. Rebound comes down. And at the buzzer, that'll do it. So it's 55-33 in favor of the Hilltoppers. The Hilltoppers went on it after they closed it to 36-30. Then they only scored 3 points since then. And the Jaguars, they dropped in 19. So it's now 33-55 as the Hilltoppers came up with 8, and the Jaguars came up with 19. So they had led by 9. And now let's see, they should be lead by 18. That's exactly correct. So 25-30, so 33-55. The Hilltoppers down, and the ball will go to the Jaguars, I do believe. Is that what I'm looking at? Yes.
Believe so. And just, wow, what a turn of events in that third quarter. Toppers actually started out fairly strong in that third quarter. Had a couple of nice buckets early. And we're really 100% in this ball game. And then the Jaguars just took off, and Los Alamos has just absolutely not been able to adjust. And we had a young kid from the crowd official Angelo Atencio letting him hand the ball to the Jaguars to let them start this quarter. Boy, what a character, Angelo Atencio, right? Our absolute favorite of all time.
Yeah. He's down on the floor. We're only about 2 bleachers up from the top, and Angelo down there on the floor, and he spots us, and of course up he comes. He's got to give everybody a hug.
Well, nicest guy you'll ever meet.
Oh my God, yeah. And John McHale, every time he sees John, he's got to give John a big hug. And so the Capital, they get it now inside to Isaiah Sanchez. And Sanchez puts up about a 10-footer in the lane, makes it 57-33. Rick Valdez playing with 4 personal fouls. We'll get it now to Ethan Mondragon over to Zach Morrow. Morrow pulls up at the free throw line, puts up a little 15-footer, is off, gets his own rebound, goes back as he penetrates in. Good job by getting his own rebound, and Morrow lays it in for his 8th point of the ball game. And that makes it now 57-35. And once again, that little give and go. They've had that wide open all night long. And who got that? Was that Isaiah?
That was Ortiz and Nathaniel Ortiz once again. What a night for him. A nice take there by Ethan Mondragon. That is his first bucket coming in from the left wing. Nice, hard, strong take to the bucket. Nice finish there by Ethan for his first bucket.
And so, oh, come on.
Yeah, brother.
Oh, give me a break. I mean, they got the ball to Isaiah Sanchez, and then he takes a couple of dribbles. He was about probably 15 feet away from the basket inside the 3-point line. So what he does is he pulls up, and then he jumps. He actually jumped into Kyle Evanhus. Actually jumped into him and then put the shot up, and then they give him the foul. And he deliberately jumped into Evanhus.
And he gets the foul and the hoop and harm. Your favorite
oh, yeah,
term
my
there.
favorite thing to say. And so he completes the 3-point play. Hoop and harm, I hate that expression. Anyway. So that personal foul is going to go to this one is going to go to Eli Dominguez. That should be his third.
Gene, you don't like the hoop and harbor. Well, you know what? You just got to D up, okay? You just have to D up.
Oh, God. Who dreamed that stupid D up thing? My God, Rick Valdez at the line for Los Alamos makes them both.
Now in the Hilltopper lineup, number 35, DeMarcus Rodriguez.
That was
62-39. Boy, oh boy. Yeah, but I haven't gotten over that foul call yet on this side last go-round. That was something else.
Ridiculous. So the shot is off by Capitol, getting the rebound and trying to put back this time is Nate Ortiz, but he's fouled on the way up. So he'll go to the free throw line. He'll shoot 2. He's 0 for 1 from the free throw line right now. And he drops that one in. I have him right now, Mike, for 19 points. I added everything up right. And so he's going for 20 on my book, but he doesn't make that. And Rick Valdez gets the rebound. We're going to have a reach-in foul, and this one is going to go this time to Nate Ortiz. And that's his second. That's his third personal.
Right. They just announced it for 2. I've got him for 3.
So do I. And they put 3 up in the scoreboard.
All right.
Too.
So he does have 3.
Comes over now. Zach Morrow, 3-point shot. This is off. Rebound comes down to Eli Dominguez. Dominguez will bring it up now to Isaac Ortega. Ortega going to try to bounce it. Cutting to the basket that time was the Nate Ortiz, but the ball kicked away by the Hilltoppers. So it'll be inbounded in the front court down the right sideline as they bounce it into Santiago Bencomo. Interesting, Mike. It's a 63-39 ball game, and Ben Gomez is really not substituting anybody.
No, and really, wow, nice take to the basket there by Isaac Ortega. But the Jaguars don't have a deep bench to begin with. But we haven't seen them sub a whole lot in this ball game.
No, not hardly at all. So Isaiah Fresca is going to give it to Zach Morrow. Morrow hands it off, and
that's DeMarcus Rodriguez.
DeMarcus Rodriguez is brought up from the junior varsity, and I don't know.
They didn't give him a uniform to fit him very well. It looks pretty big.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those. Give him your uniform thing. And we're going to have penetrating to the hole this time is Isaac Ortega, and we're going to have a blocking foul called against Los Alamos, and this one's going to go to DeMarcus Rodriguez, and that'll be his first. That's right now. Let's see, where are we at? That's about the 11th or 12th team foul, and Isaac Ortega at the free throw line, and misses that one. And so he'll shoot one more as they are in the double bonus right now. Misses that one. Makes it 65-39. And we're halfway through this, the fourth quarter.
For the Jaguars, number 14.
4:06 remains. And the Hilltoppers, Mike, in the second half have only scored 14 points total.
Wow.
In the second half after a pretty good start. And now Eddie Garth has the ball stolen away, comes down to Francisco Diaz. Diaz goes up, puts it up. His shot is partially blocked by Rick Valdez. And now they're going to call Valdez.
Oh, my goodness.
Valdez, he's going to be, well, he fouls out of the ball game. And what they're showing is that he came down with the rebound, and then he was going back and forth with his elbows. Wow. What a ticky-tack call that was. So
well, you know, and that, yeah, that can be called a foul, but that's usually got to be pretty, you know,
fairly obvious.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be swinging them pretty good. And frankly, generally they won't call that unless somebody is in immediate danger of getting in the way of the elbow. And in that case, neither one of those was true.
No, not at all. Underneath it comes. They get it underneath. The shot off by Nate Ortiz. Rebound is going to come down to Jaguars. Francisco Diaz. He steps on the end line.
Wow. So anyway, Rick is done for the evening. It was they've been in foul trouble all night. Just really never got much going. Did Rick Valdez? He ends up with 4 points in this ball game. But just pretty much foul trouble from the get-go.
And it's ironic that that's his 5th foul, swinging the elbows. 3-point shot from the right corner, from the right wing by Francisco Diaz. And Diaz, who only had 4 points in the ball game up to that point, and he increases his total now to 7. And Ben Gomez wants a 30-second timeout. I'm not sure why, but he now has 3 full timeouts remaining. The Hilltoppers have 2 timeouts remaining.
Well, sometimes coaches will do that just so they can put their bench in, and Ben Gomez put absolutely nobody in that wasn't already on the floor. So, well, apparently they just needed a breather. So that's you guys got 30 seconds. You better suck your wind right now.
Yeah, really. 3:14 to go here in this ball game. 68-39. No press being put on by the Jaguars as they wait at half court with a 1-2-2 zone. Now they're going to move up a little and spread that zone out a little. Across the timeline now comes Zach Morrow, and the ball knocked away from him by Elijah Rodriguez. So Hilltoppers will inbound it. They bring it into the backcourt to Frescas. Osiah now over to DeMarcus. DeMarcus Herrera, is that it?
DeMarcus Rodriguez.
Rodriguez, yes. And so Eddie Gartz, actually, Eddie Gartz puts up the shot, but this foul occurring before the shot.
That is go on Ortiz.
Yeah, and that was going to go to Nate Ortiz. That's his 4th. And that is the 7th team foul. So that's going to put Samuel Carmer on the free throw line. He's going to shoot 1-1. Drops in the first, and that's his first points of the ball game.
A little surprised by that Carmer really never got into the offense much. He is, like we said, he is really he might be the tallest gentleman in this entire game, but just never, they weren't able to get the ball to him down low.
No,
in
the
first half. I don't think he had more than 1 or 2 touches inside of 15 feet in that first half.
No, you're right. And so taking it to the hole, his shot is off. Rebound comes down to Zach Morrow. Morrow gets it over now to Rodriguez. DeMarcus brings it up, waits for Zach Morrow. Morrow comes across the timeline. And I'll bring it over to DeMarcus, now over to Eddie Gartz, out on top to Zach Morrow. Morrow, top of the key, comes back to Gartz left wing. And so the Hilltoppers now doing a good job of running clock here. So they
should just go in the 4 corners,
Yeah, really. Kyle Evan, and Eddie Gartz puts up a shot from way out, top of the key. Rebound comes down to Samuel Carmer. His putback is off. And so
what happened there?
The rebound came down to Nate Ortiz.
Kind of doing the do-si-do with him and Carmer there. I mean,
Carmer.
They just had their arms locked because neither one of them could get it free.
Yeah. So anyway, we have 1:25 to go, and they bring it now it's now over to Nate Ortiz. Ortiz out on top to Francisco Diaz. Diaz with another 3-pointer. So he only scored 2 points in the first half, 2 free throws in the third quarter, and now he has 2 3-pointers here in this fourth period. Makes it 71-41, a 30-point lead for the Jaguars, and we have exactly 70 seconds left in this ball game.
And Benito Maes is calling a 30-second timeout here. The setting up that 30-point play as we speak. That's this is a big one. This is a big one. So, wow. Just the turnaround and the suddenness of the turnaround was just amazing in this ball game. This was a tight ball game early in the third quarter, and then Jaguar just flipped the switch, and it has been all Jaguars since about the 5.5-minute mark of the third quarter.
Oh, absolutely. The Hilltoppers only coming up with 16 points in this quarter. Now the ball is stolen away by Fernando Tapia, who's he's coming off the bench.
Wow. With a minute left, Ben Gomez feels confident enough to put one sub in. So
yeah, really, he's and so Eli Dominguez gets the rebound on the missed shot. He now has 6 points in the ball game. 73-41. We have 30 seconds to go, and the ball is going to be actually. Wasn't kicked. It was actually thrown off the foot of one of the Jaguars.
And Tapia very nearly forcing a turnover there.
Yes. So the Hilltoppers take it in. The shot is blocked. Long pass down the left sideline. That is knocked out of bounds by the Hilltoppers. Francisco Diaz will take the ball from the official right at half court. Brings it into the backcourt. He's going to bring it to Elijah Rodriguez. Rodriguez now over, and he gets it to Tapia. If I was Tapia, I'd shoot.
Why not?
Francisco Diaz is going to dribble it out, and that will do it. So the final score, 73-41, as the Hilltoppers go down to the Jaguars. So 28-point differential. And as the Hilltoppers came up with 8 points in that quarter, 16 total for the half. And the Jaguars in that final quarter came up with 18. So the Jaguars went 14, 20, 19, and 18 in quarters. 14 in the first, 20 in the second, 19 in the third, 18 in the fourth. The Hilltoppers went 13, 12, 8, and 8. So,
wow.
So anyway, the Hilltopper boys now will be on the road as they're going to make that swing down south. Go down to Roswell and then head down to Lovington. Hilltopper girls playing Capital tonight in Santa Fe. And then the girls will return here to Griffith Gymnasium on Saturday afternoon at 4 o'clock. And we will be here to bring you that ball game. The Hilltoppers and the Aztec Tigers come to Los Alamos. So, do you have anything or?
Well, not a whole lot to say about this one, unfortunately. Just boy, oh boy, the Toppers. It started off this contest pretty well, but through the first 2+ quarters, Toppers landed a couple of punches, but every single time Capital was able to counter and maintain a fairly decent spread. And then the Toppers trying to get back in the ball game after falling down by 11, got within 6 early in that third quarter, and then and the Capitol just absolutely exploded, and the Toppers were just they were scrambling the whole rest of the night. It was just one thing after another. Turnovers, good solid shooting on their end by the Jaguars. Just everything going well for the Jaguars in that last about 13 minutes of the ball game or so. And Toppers just could not ever get back into any sort of rhythm, and things just kind of snowballed from there. And very very impressive last quarter and a half there by the Jaguars, and they just they just absolutely manhandled Los Alamos in that second half.
Yes, they really did. And so well, we're not going to bother with the scoring. It was I think
there was a lot. There was a lot of scoring, and the small consolation. Los Alamos actually held Nathaniel Ortiz kind of in check in that second half, but that's very very small consolation. Boy, just an amazing. Four 3-pointers, two in the third quarter, two in the fourth for the Jaguar. Just a lot of good things going right for them, and Los Alamos just could not keep pace.
No, they could not at all. And so, well, anyway, Happy New Year, everybody. And this wasn't exactly the way we thought things were going to start off. We knew this was going to be a tough game for Los Alamos, but and at first, like Mike says, the first two plus quarters, it was a good hard fought ball game, and then all of a sudden, it just, I don't know, like Mike said, a perfect example, perfect way to put it. Manzano just flipped a switch, and that was all she wrote. So anyway, so that's going to do it for us. So for Charlene back at her fancy studio there, she I understand she fixed it up really nice for New Year's Eve and everything. They had a nice New Year's Eve at her studio, her and John McHale, and along with Nate Limback and my good buddy Mike Mays. And so for all of us, this is Gene Mortensen saying Happy New Year, everybody. And we'll be back on the air here on Saturday afternoon at approximately 4 o'clock as the Hilltopper girls will take on the Aztec Lady Tigers. So bye-bye, everybody.